Hola, this is Señora Plusted. We're finishing Capítulo 2A, ¿Cómo te preparas? Chapter 2A, How do you prepare yourself? We're doing grammar and review. You also have a test on Friday and a writing test. There's a lot of notes, so please make sure that you watch all the way till the end. Some of you have only been watching halfway through and only submitting half of the notes. So please make sure you get all the way to possessive adjectives at the very end. And you know there's going to be some culture questions on your test. So let's begin. Right, El Mundo Hispano. So family and special events. In Spanish-speaking countries, the first invited to an event generally are members of the family. Birthdays, Saints' Day, and other special days are celebrated with family and friends. Very similar to what we do here in the United States, except in the Spanish-speaking world, there are way more holidays than there are in the English-speaking world. Here's a picture of Festival de Old Pecan Street in Austin, Texas, and in the Spanish community. Many regions of the United States where there's a concentration of Spanish-speaking persons, there are special events for the Hispanic community. These communities are prepared during the months for the celebrations. They prepare typical food, music, dances, and parades. The celebration can be international or from only one country, like the Puerto Rican Festival in New York. What these events have in common is that people always participate from all of the Spanish-speaking groups. Even if you're not Puerto Rican, people still like to come out and participate. Grand theaters, los grandes teatros. They are part of the culture of many Spanish-speaking cities, like the Royal Theater in Madrid, the Palace of Fine Arts in Mexico, and the Municipal Theater in Santiago, Chile, as some examples. They offer public concerts, operas, ballets, and other cultural programs. And cultura en vivo. The poncho. The poncho is a typical clothing of the Altiplanes, which is a elevated and cold zone situated between Bolivia and Peru. Many of you may have seen it in the Emperor's New Groove, Cusco, right, where they wore ponchos. And even these little hats with the little balls at the end of them are of Cusco styling. Also, it's used in Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Guatemala, and Mexico. These countries have mountainous and cold regions. The poncho protects against the cold and is made from materials such as llama wool or sheep's wool from animals of these countries. Reflexive verbs. So we have three parts. We have reflexive verbs, we have possessive adjectives, and we have the verb ser and estar. So make sure that we go all the way through to the very end, possessive adjectives. So reflexive verbs. Talk and write about daily routines and getting ready for special events and exchange information about what you do on an ideal day. So, reflexive verbs. Please pause the video, write this entire slide down, and then we're going to go through and say it together. All right, reflexive verbs are also known as mirror or reflection verbs, to do unto oneself. If the subject and object of a verb are the same, a reflexive pronoun can be used. The reflexive pronoun shows that the subject acts upon itself, that it does something to itself, like you see yourself in a mirror. When you conjugate a verb like lavarse, include the reflexive pronoun that agrees with the subject. So lavarse means to wash oneself. The se part at the end that you see bold in blue means to do unto yourself. Because you could wash your dog, you could wash your car, you could wash your brothers and sisters, but lavarse means to wash oneself. So when you conjugate it, you're saying people are washing themselves. So yo me lavo, I wash myself. Tú te lavas, you wash yourself. Usted se lava, you formal wash yourself. Or él or ella se lava, he or she washes him or herself. Nosotros nos lavamos, we wash ourselves. Vosotros os laváis, y'all wash yourselves. Ustedes se lavan, you all wash yourselves. And ellos or ellas se lavan, they wash themselves. So if I say, me lavo la cara, I wash my face. So you got to drop off the se, put it in the front. It becomes one of these six, right? Me, te, se, nos, os, se. You cannot forget them. Then you're still left with lavar, to wash. You got to drop off the AR and add the new endings. And because it's an AR verb, you have o, as, a, amos, an. So you got to not only remember the se becomes me, te, se, nos, os, se. You also got to remember the ending, if it's an AR, ER, or IR verb, and then conjugate it. So it's two steps instead of one. So, antes de una cita, before a date, yo me ducho, I shower myself, y me arreglo el pelo, and I fix my hair. So let's talk a little more about reflexive verbs. Pause this, write this down. All right, reflexive pronouns can go before a conjugated verb, like here in the beginning, or it can be joined to the end of an infinitive. After reflexive verbs, use el, la, los, or las with parts of the body or clothing. So, yo me voy a lavar la cara, I'm going to wash my face. Or you can say it the same way, but by putting me instead of in front of voy attached to the infinitive lavar. Yo voy a lavarme la cara, I'm going to wash my face. These verbs can also be used with reflexive pronouns or without reflexive pronouns. So, for instance, Juan se acuesta, Juan goes to bed. He lays himself down for bed. He's doing that to himself. Juan acuesta a los niños, Juan puts the kids down to bed. Notice it's not se, because Juan is not putting himself down, he's putting the kids to bed. Reflexive verbs. Some verbs have both reflexive and non-reflexive verbs, like, again, to wash the car, I wash the car. But you need the me in front of, you're saying, I wash my hair, right? So you're doing something to something else, or are you doing it to yourself? And again, if you're talking with parts of the body or clothing, you have to use the object, the definite article, el, la, los, and las. So, siempre te pintas las uñas. It says, do you always polish your nails? But if you were to actually translate it, it says, do you always polish yourself the nails, right? So you got to make sure that in Spanish that you don't try to translate it word for word, that you actually follow the formula, right? Felipe se pone los zapatos. He puts on his shoes, but it actually says, Felipe puts on himself the shoes. This is super important. You know these three phrases, para, for or in order to, antes de, before, and después de, after. These are called prepositional phrases. And when you use prepositional phrases, you can't have a regular verb after it. You have to have the infinitive, the AR, ER, IR form. So use the preposition para before an infinitive to explain your purpose for doing something, like why you're doing it, in order to what. Verbs after prepositions and prepositional phrases such as para, antes de, and después de are in the infinitive, in the AR, ER, IR form. So tengo que levantarme temprano. I have to get up early tomorrow in order to lift weights with Anna in the gym. In order to lift weights. So you got to make sure that you keep this in the infinitive. You cannot say, I have to get up early in order to I lift weights. No, in order to lift weights. So again, note that in Spanish you use the infinitive after a preposition. Even if an infinitive is not used in English, you still got to do it in Spanish. Generalmente me pongo loción. Generally, I put on lotion en la cara, on my face, después de afeitarme, after shaving my face. See, after shaving myself. But literally, if you translate it, it says después de afeitarme, after to shave myself. So make sure that you keep it in the AR, ER, IR infinitive form right after a prepositional phrase. Reflexive verbs. You need to actually know and memorize the definitions of these verbs. Please pause the video and write these down. All right, now let's go through them together. Acostarse, to lay down oneself. Afeitarse, to shave oneself. Notice the se I have here bolded. That means to do unto oneself, like you're looking in a mirror. Right? Whatever you do reflects back on you. Arreglarse el pelo, to fix one's hair. Bañarse, to bathe oneself. Cepillarse los dientes, to brush one's teeth. Cortarse el pelo, to cut one's hair. Despertarse, to wake up oneself. Ducharse, to shower oneself. Dormirse, to fall asleep oneself. Levantarse, to get up oneself. Lavarse, to wash one's face. Pintarse las uñas, to paint one's nails. Ponerse, to put on oneself. Prepararse, to get oneself ready. Secarse, to dry oneself. And vestirse, to get oneself dressed. So notice here, some of them have E to I, O to UE, O to UE, E to IE. These are three-step verbs. that have stem changing. So not only do you have to drop the se, not only do you have to conjugate the AR or ER or IR, you also got to change that letter in the boot, right? O-D-U-E. So I need you to write these down, pause the video, write them down, and then we'll go through them together. All right, so we have dormirse, to fall asleep. Me duermo, I fall asleep. So look at this. It is se, chop it off, put it in the front, put it in, chop it off, put it in the front. It becomes me, te, se, nos, o, se. Then you're left with IR endings, right? O, S, E, imos, is, en. And then third step, you got to change the O to UE, right? We, o, we. So there are 3 steps that happen in these verbs. Again, chop off the se, put it in the front, and it becomes me, te, se, nos, o, se. Then you're left with the IR ending or AR ending. You're going to conjugate it and put the correct endings. And then that middle letter has to change to its stem changing form. So, me duermo, I lay myself down. Te duermes, I fall asleep. Te duermes, you fall asleep. Se duerme, he or she falls asleep. Nos dormimos, we fall asleep. Os dormís, y'all fall asleep. Se duermen, they fall asleep. Acostarse, to lay oneself down for bed. So again, se, chop it off, put it in the front. It becomes me, te, se, nos, o, se. You're left with AR endings. You got to drop it and conjugate. O, as, a, amos, an. And then this O changes to UE. So you have we, o, we, because it's a boot stem changing verb. So we have me acuesto, I lay myself down for bed. Te acuestas, you lay yourself down for bed. Se acuesta, he or she lays him or herself down for bed. Nos acostamos, we lay ourselves down for bed. Os acostáis, y'all lay yourselves down for bed. Se acuestan, they lay themselves down for bed. Despertarse, to wake up oneself. Again, se becomes me, te, se, nos, o, se. AR, you have the O, as, a, amos, an. And then this E changes to IE in the boot. Ye, ye. So let's go through them. Me despierto, I wake up myself. Te despiertas, you wake up yourself. Se despierta, he or she wakes up him or herself. Nos despertamos, we wake up ourselves. Os despertáis, y'all wake up yourselves. Se despiertan, they wake up themselves. Vestirse, to get oneself dressed. So again, se becomes me, te, se, nos, o, se. The IR endings again, o, s, e, imos, is, en. And then this E changes to I. So me visto, I get dressed. Te vistes, you get dressed. Se viste, he or she gets dressed. Nos vestimos, we get dressed. Os vestís, y'all get dressed. Se visten, they get themselves dressed. So let's listen to these 2 conversations now based on reflexive verbs, what people do to get themselves ready.
¿A qué hora te despiertas por la mañana?
Me despierto a las 6:30. ¿Y tú?
Yo me despierto a las 7. ¿Qué haces después de levantarte?
Siempre me ducho primero y me lavo el pelo. ¿Y tú? ¿Qué haces luego?
So she asks, ¿a qué hora te despiertas por la mañana? At what time do you wake up yourself in the morning? Me despierto a las 6:30. I wake up myself at 6:30. And you? Yo me despierto a las 7. I wake up myself at 7. ¿Qué haces? We have the prepositional phrase, después de levantarte. What do you do after getting up or getting yourself up? Siempre me ducho primero. I always take a shower first. Y me lavo el pelo. I wash my hair. ¿Y tú qué haces luego? And you, what do you do after? And then let's talk about what they do to get ready for school.
Primero nos levantamos a las 3 de la mañana.
Después nos ponemos una camisa elegante y unos pantalones cortos.
So primero, first, we get ourselves up at 3 in the morning. Después, after, nos ponemos, we put on una camisa elegante, an elegant shirt, y unos pantalones cortos, and some shorts. So let's go through the checkpoint. I underlined some of the stem changing ones for you. And remember, the se gets dropped off, cut off, put in the front, and becomes me te se, nos os se. So all of these blanks should have two words. The first word being me te se, nos os or se, and the second one being the leftover part conjugated. So let's go through. How do you say, I get myself up at 6 in the morning? Sorry, I wake myself up at 6 in the morning. Yo me despierto a las 6 de la mañana. How do you say, I get myself up at 10 on Sundays? Yo me levanto a las 10 los domingos. Again, if you haven't paused the video and started writing these down, I need you to write them down. Mis hermanas, again, drop off the se, put it in the front. It's the AS form. And then you have dormir, conjugate it. IR verb and O changes to UE. Se duermen a las 10. Tú, again, stem changing verb. Te acuestas tarde o temprano. Do you lay yourself down for bed late or early? Ellas siempre se ponen la ropa muy elegante. They always wear elegant clothing or put on themselves elegant clothing. Eduardo blank la cara cada noche. Eduardo washes his face every night. Y yo me baño por la noche. And I take a bath at night. All right, so we're preparing for a party. Isabel and Elena se preparan para ir a un fiesta de quinceañera. They're preparing to go to a 15-year-old girl's birthday party. En una hoja de papel, write the correct pronombre reflexivo correcto, the correct reflexive pronoun. That means the me, te, se, nos, o, se for every number. So they've conjugated the verb for you, but it's missing the me, te, se, nos, o, se in front. So Isabel y Elena son dos hermanas que se preparan para una fiesta de quinceañera. Debemos acostar, we should lay ourselves down early tonight, is what she's trying to say. Debemos acostarnos temprano esta noche. And then the sister responds back, sí, y mañana yo me blank baño primero. Yo me baño primero, and I will shower first. Después, same thing, you have the yo forms here, so you have to have me. Me maquillo y me pinto las uñas. Me gusta, and same thing, you have the infinitive, you gotta attach the yo form reflexive pronoun. Me gusta prepararme lentamente. I like to prepare myself slowly, dice Elena, says Elena. Es verdad, dice Isabel. It's true, says Isabel. Siempre blank, you prepare yourself more slowly than I do. Siempre te... Oh wait, I forgot 6 here. Siempre te preparas más lentamente que yo. La noche de la fiesta, Elena fixes her hair first, se arregla el pelo primero, y luego ayuda a Isabel, and later she helps Isabel. Las dos, the two of them, se visten y salen para la fiesta a las 6:30. So the two of them get themselves dressed and go out to the party at 6:30. Ser versus estar. Remember, we still have one more after this, possessive adjective, so I know it's been long, but don't give up yet. Exchange information about where things are, and you're going to write about how other people feel in certain situations. So write this down. Ser and estar both mean to be, but they are very different, right? Ser means to be, but we use it for permanent and lasting attributes. I need you to write down this acronym, right? Doctor, description, occupation, characteristic, time, origin, and relationships. So what does that mean? These are things that don't change second to second, minute to minute, day to day. These are longer lasting and tend to hold true for a long period of time. So here are examples, all right? You don't need to write down the examples, but I do need to go over how this works and why you would only use the verb ser. So, yo soy alto y moreno. I am tall and dark-haired or dark-skinned. That's not going to change second to second, minute to minute, day to day. This is more of a long-lasting thing, right? Occupation, what job you do for a living. Yo soy estudiante. I am a student. Ella es profesora. She is a teacher. Again, that doesn't flip-flop back and forth quickly. If you're a student 1 minute, you're probably going to be a student the next. Same for her being a teacher. Characteristics. So description is how you are on the outside. A characteristic is how you are on the inside, right? Like personality. Maria es inteligente. She is intelligent. Y graciosa. And cute and funny. Again, that doesn't really change second to second, minute to minute. If you're intelligent and cute and funny, you usually are. That's part of your internal being, and outside forces cannot change it. Time is a constant in the universe. Doesn't matter what we do to the clock, time remains unmoved and unchanged. Son las 4. It is 4 o'clock, and nothing you can do can change that. El concierto es a las 3. The concert is at 3. Origin. What something is made of, or where someone is from. So, Ramiro es de México. Ramiro is from Mexico. Ramiro es mexicano. He is Mexican. And again, it doesn't matter where he moves. He's always going to be from Mexico. He's always going to be Mexican. El anillo es de oro y plata, gold and silver. So the ring is of silver, of gold and silver. It doesn't matter what you do to the ring. It's still made of those essential elements, right? Gold and silver. Relationship, belonging to. I can say, Ricardo es mi hermano. He is my brother, right? He belongs to me, even if I don't claim him. And no es mi carro. It's not my car. Es el carro de nuestro amigo. It is the car of our friend. Anything that shows any kind of relationship or belonging to, long-lasting, also uses ser. And here are the conjugations of ser. You must write these conjugations down. Yo soy, tú eres. So if you need to pause the video, write this slide down. You do need this slide. Usted, él, ella, es. Nosotros somos. Vosotros sois. Ustedes, ellos, ellas, son. If you did not pause it and write it down, I need you to pause it and write it down, and then we'll move on. So this is the verb ser. Now we have the verb estar. Pause this, write this down. It means to be, but it's for temporary states and locations. So here's the acronym to remember it. Place, position, location, action, condition, emotion. So we had doctor for ser and place for estar. Now instead of this being permanent, this is now temporary. These can change like the wind. At any second, at any moment, outside forces can change it, right? So I'm going to go through the examples. You don't have to write down the examples, so don't write this slide down, but I do need you to go through it and understand how it works. So position. El libro está al lado del lápiz. The book is next to the pencil. I can move the pencil or move the book immediately, and the position changes. Position is where one thing is in relation to another. And location is where something is located. El papel está encima de la mesa. The paper is on top of the table. I can grab the paper, move it. It's somewhere else now. Action. José está jugando a fútbol. José is playing soccer. Again, he can stop kicking the ball and boom, he's not playing soccer anymore. Actions can change immediately, any second of the day. Condition or temporary state, right, of how something is. María está cansada hoy. María is tired today. So that's a very temporary thing. She can take a nap or get some sleep or drink an energy drink. She's not tired anymore. Emotion or feeling, how you feel on the inside, can also change second to second. Rafael y Miguel están entusiasmados. They are excited for right now. Then they find out they have a test and they're not excited anymore. Now, pause the video and write this down. You must write down the conjugations of estar. All right, we have yo estoy, tú estás, usted, él, ella está, nosotros estamos, vosotros estáis, ustedes, ellos, ellas están. And these all mean am, is, or are, right? I am, you are, he or she is, we are, y'all are, they are. But these are temporary, not permanent or long-lasting. Emotions, emociones y sentimientos, emotions and feelings. Here are a list of adjectives that describe feelings and emotions, and you must write these down. Pause the video, write them down. All right, aburrido. Contento. Oh, that should be an O at the end of there. Contento. Nervioso. Tranquilo. Cansado. Entusiasmado. Ocupado. And triste. Hopefully you have all of these written down. All right, if not, pause the video, write them down, and we'll move on. All right, so let's listen to this conversation between two people to see how estar and ser are used.
¿Dónde están las joyas de Ramona?
Están encima del escritorio.
¿De qué son las joyas?
Son de oro.
So where are the jewelry, or, where is the jewelry of Ramona? So again, location, that's why they're using están. Las joyas, where are they? Están encima del escritorio. They are on top of the desk. So again, that's the position where one thing is in relation to another. All of these very temporary, where it's located and its position. But then she asked, ¿de qué son las ollas? What is the jewelry made of? Son de oro. They are made of gold. And again, doesn't matter what you do to the jewelry, you can't change it. That's why it's used son and not están. All right, so checkpoint. Reading these sentences, you should understand what they mean. You have to pick, is it permanent, right? Ser, soy, eres, es, somos, soy, son. Or is it temporary? Estar. Estoy, estás, está, estamos, estáis, están. I need you to write these, so make sure that after we go through this slide that you pause the video and write them down. So try it with me. Mónica blank de España. We say Mónica is from Spain. We need the permanent is es. Mónica es de España. When I say Victor is a student, Victor, so we say Victor es estudiante. Son las 10 de la mañana, right? Time, it is 10 in the morning. We are in Spanish class. That is very temporary. That is location. It's estamos en la clase de español. Say, Natalia is my sister. Natalia es mi hermana. Rafael and Miguel are sad. Remember, emotions and feelings are temporary. It should be están tristes. And 7, estoy jugando fútbol americano. I am playing soccer. That is an action, very temporary. It can change at any moment. So practice. Let's go through them. You're going to complete the following letter that's written from somebody using the correct forms of ser or estar. So you need soy, eres, es, somos, soy, son, or estoy, estás, está, estamos, estáis, están. So, hola, ¿cómo? I want to ask how you're doing. ¿Cómo estás? I am Carla. Which one would it be? Soy Carla. I am from Chicago. Soy or estoy? Soy de Chicago. ¿Y tú, where are you from? ¿Y tú, de dónde eres? Today is Monday. Hoy es lunes. That's time. That's why you use es and not está. It is 10 in the morning. Son las 10 de la mañana. Y mis compañeros y yo blank en la clase de español. And my classmates and I are in Spanish class. Estamos en la clase de español. La profesora blank, la señora Gómez. The teacher is señora Gómez. Es. La clase de español blank un poco difícil, pero me gusta. Spanish class is a little difficult, but I like it. Es, that is a characteristic, right? Description, characteristic. And the last one, same thing. We either need soy, eres, es, somos, soy, son, or estoy, estás, está, estamos, estáis, están. So we want to say Olga is artistic. Olga es artística. My brother is sad and depressed. Mi hermano, and that's a characteristic, ser. Mi hermano está triste y deprimido, because that is an emotion. You use estar. Mi madre blank contenta. My mom is content or happy or satisfied. Está contenta. Same thing, emotion, estar. Elena y Paula blank, las niñas más altas de la clase. Elena y Paula are the tallest girls in the class. Son, because that is a description, ser. El partido de fútbol blank en el parque. The soccer game is in the park. Está en, it's sorry, el parque, not la parque. That is location, estar. And one more. Complete the sentences with the correct form of ser or estar. The soup is cold. La sopa está fría. My mom and I are tall. Her plus me equals she. Nosotros somos altas. Again, soup is cold, temporary condition that can change second to second, minute to minute. We are tall, that's not going to change second to second, minute to minute. That's ser, permanent. El lápiz blank encima del escritorio está encima del escritorio. That is location, where the pencil is located. And the desserts here are delicious. You're saying they are always delicious. Son ricos. That is a description, ser. It is very late. It is 9:30. Es muy tarde. Son las 9:30. That is time, which uses ser. And the last one, possessive adjectives. In this section, you'll be able to listen to and write about personal belongings and indicate whether something belongs to you. So please pause the video, write this down. This is a brand new section. All right. Grammar, possessive adjectives. You already know different possessive adjectives. The me, mis, tú, tus, right? These here. And they go in front of an object, right? Like, tus joyas de plata son muy bonitas. Your silver jewelry pieces are very pretty. Spanish possessive adjectives also have a long form that comes after the noun. These forms are often used for emphasis, when you are emphasizing who they belong to. So I need you to pause the video and write these down now. This box especially, and this description. And then I need you to also write the rest of this slide as well. Write the entire thing. So mío, mía, míos, mías all mean of mine. Tuyo, tuya, tuyos, and tuyas all mean of yours. Suyo, suya, suyos, suyas mean of yours formal, like usted, or of his and hers. Nuestro, nuestra, nuestros, nuestras means of ours. Vuestro, vuestra, vuestros, vuestras of y'all's. Suyo, suya, suyos, suyas of you all's, formal, or of theirs. So, if I say, voy al partido con un amigo mío, I'm going to the game with a friend of mine. We have here mío. Vas al baile con unas amigas tuyas. Are you going to the dance with some friends of yours? Notice, of mine, of yours, and you use it for emphasis. These possessive adjectives may be used without the noun. Estas chaquetas son suyas. Are these jackets yours? Sí, son nuestras. Yes, they are ours. So notice here, it doesn't say nuestras chaquetas. Once we already know we're talking about the jackets, we can just say, sí, son nuestras. Yes, they are ours. And to clarify or emphasize possession, you can use de plus a noun, or a pronoun instead of the form suyo. So, because remember, suyo can stand for all these people. Usted, él, ella, ustedes, ellos, ellas. So you can literally just say de and whoever. So aquí está un collar suyo. Here is a necklace of who? Yours, his, hers, or theirs, or yours. Right? Just pick one. So let's see this in action.
¿Es
¿Es tu agua de colonia?
Sí, el agua de Colonia es mía.
Is this your cologne? Yes, this cologne is mine.
Me gustan las joyas que llevas. Son tuyas.
Sí, son mías.
I like the jewelry that you are wearing. Que llevas. Son tuyas. Are they yours? Sí, son mías. Yes, they are mine. And we know that they're still talking about las joyas, the jewelry. All right, so let's go through this. This is actually one of your activities. I gave you the answers to the first three. So, ¿de quiénes son estas cosas? Of whom do these things belong to? Pick the best response. ¿De quién son esos zapatos elegantes? Of who do these elegant shoes belong to? De usted? Is it yours? Would it be si son míos or si son mías if we're talking about zapatos? It's got a machi. It would be son míos. Os. ¿De quiénes son esos globos? All right, whose balloons are these? De los niños, of the kids. Si son suyos or si son suyas. It's got to match with globos. It would be son suyos. ¿Y de quién es esa toalla? ¿De ustedes? So, and who does this towel belong to? You all? Si es nuestra or si es mía? If someone is asking de ustedes, of you all, the only one you can say is yes, it is ours. Si es nuestra. All right, these are the activities that you got to do. And you have a paragraph and a test due at the end of this week. This is so important that you pay attention. You're going to be talking about how to get ready for a special event. You can only use your notes in the model provided or it's a 0. Remember, this is a test grade. So you're going to talk about what type of event you go to, what you do to get ready for the event. You need 4 things that you do in the reflexive yo form and to state how you are feeling. So for instance, cuando voy a you can say boda, wedding, cita, date. Use your vocabulary. Llevo, I wear. What clothing items do you wear? A tie, a dress, a skirt, pants. Para prepararme. Yeah. In order to prepare myself, yo what? You can say yo me baño, yo me ducho, yo me lavo. You need to say 4 things. Mis amigos y yo estamos what? What kind of emotions are you guys feeling? Are you nerviosos, entusiasmados, contentos? So make sure that you use all of the new vocabulary you have written. And that is it. Thanks, everybody.